Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's Dina with JCC Maccabi. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this afternoon. We're going to hang on for a couple more minutes just because we have some additional people to be joining us, and then we'll go ahead and kick off the back-end training. Hi, guys. Good afternoon. It's Dina with JCC Maccabi. Thank you again for taking the time this afternoon to join us as we review the back end of the registration system. I want to ask that everybody please take a moment and go ahead. I have our chat box open, and if everybody could please list your name. It's how we're going to be able to take attendance for today. If you can please just put your name and the delegation that you are going to be managing this summer, it'd be greatly appreciated. So again, go ahead, open up that chat box and just type your name and your delegation in there. If you're not sure how to do so, please feel free to just shoot me an email. Let me know that you were on this call. It's simply going to help us with follow-up. One other thing that I want to precedent here is that we will be sending out not only a copy of the webinar, but we'll be sending out a recording of our Zoom so that everybody has it for their use moving forward. So please don't feel the need to take notes. During the presentation, again, we want you guys to just pay attention, sort of absorb as much information as you can, knowing that you're going to have several tools after the fact to reference as you're going through the system. And as always, I am here, the JCC Maccabi team is here to help with any questions that arise throughout the process. All right, so what are we going to be reviewing today? We're going to go over basic browser requirements and logging into the system as it's different from the front end. We're going to review site navigation, status bar, sorting, filtering, reporting, and extracting data from the system for you to manipulate later on. We're going to talk through our participation agreement, which for those of you who have been with us in the past, to be our system. We're also going to talk about background checks, confirmation pages, and general, in addition to medical confirmation pages and sort of what these are going to entail. I will stop periodically for questions, but again, guys, that chat box is open on my screen, so if any time a question pops to your mind, feel free to type it in there. Again, I will also pause sort of intermittently throughout this presentation to open up for questions. So what browsers can you utilize to access back into the system? One thing that's a concerning difference here that I want to point out to you guys, the front end you can access with Internet Explorer. Back end of the system, you will not be able to access with Internet Explorer. As such, and as always, we encourage you to use Chrome or Firefox. This back end of the system is also a mobile-friendly system, which means you can use your iPad, your tablet, smartphones, anything along those lines in order to head and access back to the system. However, again, Chrome can cause, is the way to go. Safari can go ahead and cause some problems unless the cookies are disabled. Again, our recommendation is always going to be to go ahead and use the cookies. To log into the back end of the system, again, it's going to be a little bit of a different process. You're going to go to www.regpacks.com, and you're going to go ahead and click Client Login. Something that's important to know is that if you have your web browser condensed and it's not full screen, you will not see the header displayed on your screen currently. In order to log in, you'll see that there will be 3 white lines located where the client login is currently located. You'll click that, it'll drop down, and you'll see the client login option. When logging into the system, all new you guys would have received an email already from RegPack. It would have come from JCC Maccabi Registrations at jcca.org, and it would have contained an invitation inviting you to set up the back end of your account. At this point in time, all of the accounts have been set up. If you have not gotten access to your system, please go ahead and shoot me an email, and we'll ensure that's taken care of today. Those of you who have worked in RegPack on the JCC Maccabi projects before, in order to access the 2019 system, you're simply going to go ahead and log in, and you'll click, we'll talk about it in a moment, there'll be a book icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen. You'll simply click that drop-down and select the 2019 project that you're looking to access. If you forgot your password, at any point in time, you can use the forgot password link. Something that's new for 2019, and I want to specify and make clear that it is only for back-end accounts. We are able to reset your password. Again, I want to make that very clear from the front end of the system. So for all of your users, and when you go in to register yourself and your coaches, we do not have access to those passwords. For your passwords to the back end of the system, we do have access. So if anybody is having difficulty logging in, please go ahead and email me and we'll get you resetting that password. Once you've logged into your system, you're going to be presented with your home screen. Again, for those returning delegations, you'll see I've highlighted what the books are going to look like, the top right-hand corner of your screen. If you click that icon, a drop-down will appear with all of the projects you've managed while working at JCC Maccabi, and you're simply going to want to click the 2019 project that you'd like to focus on. You'll see when you log in, it's a user management screen. You have sort of tools, as filter, tools, report, and you'll also see all of the users associated with your delegation. I want to pause for a second and make sure everybody's comfortable accessing the system and getting into their account. Great. So once you've logged into your account, on that basic Manage Information page, you'll see that there are 3 tabs. It's important to keep in mind when you're in the system what tab you're looking at, as each tab will show you different information. The Account tab will show you the account name and any individual registrations associated with that account. For example, if you have 2 athletes who are related, and mom and dad and grandma and grandpa are coming as chaperones, and they've all registered under the same account, under the Account tab, you'll be able to see them as a family unit. You'll be using this tab from time to time, but not predominantly. Your Main tab is only going to show you the account names associated with all the users in your registration. You will not be using this account at any point in time. You will not be using this tab, rather, at any point in time. Final tab, where you'll be spending a good majority of your time, is the subunit tab. This is where you can see every single individual registrant who is associated with your delegation. One of the things that's important to keep in mind here is that a lot of times, and for those who have been with us for a couple of years, you can probably speak to this, you'll have a parent who swears to you they registered. They got in the system, they completed their registration, you can't see them. 9 times out of 10, that simply means they've selected the wrong delegation. If that's the case, please simply reach out to me, because I have viewing rights to the entire system. I will see if we can locate this individual and move them back to your community. At that point in time, you'll be able to see them when you log into your account. Registration status bar is something that's associated with every user, and you'll see it when you log in again on that main information page. I want to walk through sort of what the registration bar entails for all users. First, you'll have a select button. Important to know where this is, and we'll reference it in a little bit. It'll allow us to pull reports and certain information on individual users. Next is a sorting function. This will allow you to identify and sort registrants. Please note, only you guys have access to this information. That means that any of the sorting tools and sorting icons that you associate with your users, only you will be able to see them when you log into your system. These are helpful, we found in the past. For example, if you know teens are missing information, you can go ahead and identify them with that red exclamation point. And a little bit when we go to sorting, we'll show you how using these identifying markers will allow you to sort your users in the system easily. Next, we have a chat box. I cannot stress this enough. We kindly request that you guys do not type any information into this chat box. Its functionality is simply for myself and the host community to be able to assert confirmation for your registrants' confirmation pages. And we'll talk through what that process looks like in a little bit. But again, guys, I can't stress it enough. Please do not enter any information into this chat box. Next, you'll see the registrant's first name and last name, followed by the date they began their registration. This is helpful for us when assigning late fees and registration fees and being able to reference your spectators and when they've come in the system to register. Following the date of the beginning of their registration, you'll see a completeness bar. This will change in color as the user completes their registration, beginning at a yellow-orange and progressing to a green. You'll also see next to the status bar is 2 numbers. The first is how many forms have been completed out of how many forms are associated with that user's registration. Following that, you'll see a sum of monies. This is available for all of your spectators. By clicking on that sum of money, you'll be able to see if a user has paid their spectator fee or not. It's important to caveat that with, please know that JCC Association will be following up with any of your unpaid spectators leading up to the deadline for the early bird special, and then again leading up to the deadline for JCC Maccabi. As a reminder, anybody who receives and pays an early bird spectator ticket will get that in advance. So we will go ahead and we will send those to you guys as delegation heads for local distribution. Anybody who purchases spectator pass post the early bird deadline will have to pick up that spectator credential at the host community. Finally, you'll see set status as. What I want to talk through here, guys, is this button will give you the opportunity to activate and inactivate users. I want to make sure that it's clear. What that basically means is delete versus undelete. However, RegPack never actually deletes any information from the system. It's all stored on the servers. So what that means is, let's say you have little Johnny in your community. He came to your tryouts, he made the basketball team, he's super excited. Unfortunately, it turns out there's a conflict in schedule, mom made alternative plans, they're not gonna be able to participate this summer. You can go in to the system, you'll go to set status as, you'll go all the way to the bottom, and there's a little set status as that says deleted by user. This will make that user inactive. You'll see that their name grades out. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, a month and a half later, mom calls you. She's super excited. She was able to rearrange her plans. She wants to know if there's still room on the team. Her son would love to participate. Great, there's still room. You can go ahead, search for this user, go to their set status as, and all the way at the bottom is remove user status. Once you click that button, that user's registration will refresh and be active, which means that family will not have to log back into the system and re-enter information. Everything that they entered the first time around will be saved and now accessible. Any questions about the status bar? Great. Oops. So going into a little bit more detail on that actual click down status bar. When you click down on the status bar, and again, that's going to be the little moving bar that changes colors as the user completes their registration, you'll see when you click on that, a drop-down will appear with all the forms associated with that user's registration. You'll notice that any forms that have a green circle to the left of the form's name, the form has been completed. Any form that has a red circle to the left of the form's name, that form is missing information and has not yet been completed. You'll also see that for some of the forms, there are red dots to the right-hand side. What that means is that form cannot be edited by the user on the front end. So if they need to change information on those forms, they must contact you as a delegation head, and you must make those edits and alterations through the back end of the system on their behalf. You'll also see to the right-hand side are admin forms. These are going to be your athlete and artist and delegation head and coach and chaperone and spectator confirmation pages. You'll notice that for your athletes and artists, in addition to the general confirmation page, you also have a medical confirmation page. They're two separate pages because they have two separate deadlines, and we'll go into what those deadlines are in a little bit. Sorting. So as I indicated before, one of the things that you can use are sort of those images and those statuses and those stars in order to sort. One of the other things you can use, as you can see by this drop-down menu, once you click sort by, there are a variety of sort of denominations that you can choose to sort by. You'll also note that they can sort in ascending and descending order. In order to change this order, simply click on the name of what you'd like to be sorting for twice, and you'll see the arrow will go from either a green arrow pointing up to a green arrow pointing down. Please note that when using the sort by, if you have not filtered the system, you will be sorting by all of the users associated with your delegation. Let's say you want to only see a specific group of users. In that instance, you're going to go ahead and use the filter function. The filter tool is accessed by clicking on the filter button. You'll then see a drop-down appear with a variety of pre-built filters that we've made for you based off of what we found our delegation heads using in the past. So again, you'll see them by every level of participation. Alternatively, if you want to look for specific information, you have the opportunity to create a custom filter. In order to do so, again, you'll click that filter drop-down, and on the right-hand side, you'll click Advanced Mode. Advanced Mode will give you the opportunity to select different topics and different areas to choose from. We are always going to be using forms and fields when creating our custom filters. In order to filter by form, sorry guys, we're going a little slow here. There we go. In order to filter by form, forms are correlated to every single form and its completion level. So for example, in what we're looking at, is the athlete housing questions complete? So again, we can say complete or incomplete. Once you've put your criteria in again, you can see by that box below, you can stack and layer your criteria. So our first criteria we put in was athlete housing questions are complete, and the second criteria is that their sport questions are complete. Again, this is just this example. One of the things I recommend for you guys as you're utilizing the system is to look for the opposite, to look for things that are incomplete. It will allow you to do group follow-up to those individuals to say, for example, we noticed you haven't uploaded your medical form. At your earliest convenience, please log in and take care of that. And filtering by form will allow us to identify those users, again, who have not completed or completed certain forms in their registration. Additionally, we can filter by field. You're going to have the same criteria, except fields correlate to every single question we ask users in the system. So you can search the system for certain answers to certain questions. In this example, we're looking for are participants allergic to cats with the answer yes. Same as with forms, you can stack as many filters as you'd like. One thing that I do want to point out here that's important when you're applying your filters is all conditions are required versus any condition is sufficient. It's important to pay attention to this before you apply your filter. In selecting all conditions are required, any filter criteria that you have listed must be met in order for users to be presented to you. If any condition is sufficient, the system will go ahead and show you any user who has met any of the criteria you have listed. It doesn't look for anybody who's met all. So please make sure you're paying attention to that when applying your filters. Once you've gone ahead and you've double checked all that information, you'll click Apply Filter and the filter will run. You're going to see, sort of as you can see on the bottom of the screen here, the criteria that you have filtered will now appear on the top of that management home screen. If you don't see this, that means the filter has not been added. Please go through the steps again and reapply your filter. In order to save a filter, you can do so by clicking the gray Save Filter button located on the right-hand side of your filter sort of criteria. You'll go ahead and you'll put a category for the filter and you'll name the filter. One thing that I kindly ask everybody to pay attention to is you have two options. You can save for everybody to use, or you can save for only your view. I'd like everybody to keep in mind that with over 75 delegations, If every delegation had saved 3 criteria, you could only imagine how many filters we'd have. So we kindly ask that if you're saving filters, please make sure you're selecting only for you. They will then appear in your filter dropdown, but they will not appear for anybody else to use. In order to remove a filter, you'll simply click on the gray X located at the end of the filter name. Alternatively, at any point in time, you can click on sort of those white arrows that point to the left, located to the left of your project filters, and that will remove the filter as well. Before we run on to running reports, I'd like to pause and see if anybody has questions about the filtering process or sorting process. Great. So moving on to running reports. The one thing that is quintessential to keep in mind when running reports is that you must always apply a filter first. If you don't apply a filter, it will not matter the name of the report or what the report is pulling information on. It will run that report on all of your users. For example, if you're looking to run an athlete report and you have not filtered for athlete, the athlete report will be run on all of the users in your system. So spectators, artists, coaches, and chaperones, that information will all be pulled into the Excel. So the first step is always telling the system who are the users that we'd like to run the report on. Once we've done that, you go ahead and you click on your report button, and you'll see, similar to filters, there are a variety of pre-designed reports that we have done for you from JCC Association based off of feedback from the last couple of years. At any point in time, you have the opportunity to click View All Reports in the bottom right-hand corner, and it will show you the full list of reports accessible to you. You also have the opportunity to select quick views for your reports. This means if you find there are certain reports that you're using over and over again, you have the opportunity to select the reports that view when you click that reports button and it drops down. In order to do so, you simply click quick views, and you'll go ahead and set the reports that you'd like on that quick view status. Once you've clicked that report and the report name you'd like to apply, you'll see that your screen refreshes to almost what looks like a mimicked Excel spreadsheet, and you'll be able to download and extract the information from the system to manipulate for your use. In order to do so, in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a button that says Download a CSV. You'll simply click on this button. The one thing that is quintessential to remember is once you've downloaded that information and it appears in an Excel spreadsheet, when you are saving that Excel, you need to make sure you're saving the format of the Excel. It's going to download from RegPack as a comma-separated value file, which means if you do not change the format to Excel when you're saving it, that document you will not be able to use should you need to open it again. So please make sure that when you're saving it, again, you're changing the type of format of that saved document to an Excel. Any questions about the report process? One thing that I do want to clarify is that you guys do not have the opportunity to build your own reports. Again, we have built a ton of reports, inclusive of, for each level of participation, an all-inclusive report of every question we ask that user. However, if at any point in time you feel like there's a specific report that you would like that is not currently available, simply email me and we can go ahead and build that for you to make sure you have access to use the system as easily and as cumbersomely as possible. Participant agreement page. This is what, for those of you who have been with us for many years, used to be the confirmation kit, and then it became a confirmation page, and now it's sort of developed into a participant agreement page. This basically speaks to code of conduct, to declaration of eligibility, to emergency contact agreement, and a variety of things that we need our parents and our guardians, as well as our athletes and artists to agree to. There's also one for coaches and chaperones and delegation heads, but it's a little less cumbersome, again, as we don't need parental permission and unconditional release or emergency contact, as you guys as consenting adults provide that to us on your own. Something that's important to note here is that we ask, because of legalities, that the parents or guardians be the ones that provide e-signature for this form. However, we want to ensure that the kids have read this over and agree to it as well. So you'll see that there's a question, a yes/no question that the teens have to answer, then the e-signature is to be completed by their parents or guardians. We ask that you guys help us to ensure that all of your teens are selecting yes to this question. Again, what this means is you can use that filter tool, filter by field, and filter for any teens who may have selected no. You'll then follow up with them and make sure we're getting them to the position where they're comfortable saying yes, and we from the back end can change that answer from no to yes. One thing that I want to talk about this year is that based on some of the instances that we encountered last year, we've made some updates to our participation agreement for this year, for 2019, inclusive of While we've always been a tobacco and smoke-free program, we've now added commentary as it relates to e-cigarettes and vaping and a variety of other substances that we have now realized are accessible to our teens. We've also added things as it relates to ordering Uber Eats and ordering non-kosher meals to evening activities while they're in the program. For our coaches and chaperones, we've also added language about Ubering during the day. Unfortunately, last year, we found a lot of delegation heads and coaches and chaperones were going to the hotels throughout the day, taking showers, relaxing on the couches in the lobby. That is simply not acceptable at our program. As such, language is built in, again, for that adult confirmation kit, speaking against doing so. What that means is then if an individual is caught doing so, it is potentially a court of honor matter, as they did legally agree and sign off with an e-signature to not engage in that behavior. So we want to make sure that when you guys are onboarding your coaches, this communication is clear. Any questions that relate to the participation agreement page? Great. So we're going to talk a little bit about uploads and what your role is with these uploads. For all of your athletes and artists, you're going to be providing a photo, health insurance, and a prescription card if it's separate. You're going to be providing a proof of age and a medical form and a copy of the teen's vaccination. I want to make it clear that a couple of years ago, we moved all of this into RegPack, so your users have the opportunity to upload all this information on their own. However, we do have some delegation heads who are still a little bit old school and would like to manage this process by yourselves. So you ask your parents to provide you this information, and then you upload it into the system. You can do so in the back end, and we'll walk through those steps in a minute. But again, your families do have the autonomy to upload them themselves. You'll also find that on the medical form upload page is the opportunity to download the 2019 JCC Maccabi medical form. So if at any point in time your families lose the paperwork or don't have it, they're able to access that form in the system and download it and print it out on their own to be able to bring to their child's primary care physician. With the photo, I can't stress this enough. You're looking to see if it's an appropriate headshot. Again, I know sometimes this is a little bit of a tricky process in RegPack, so I can't stress it enough. The place where you're looking for the photo is on the confirmation page. As the photo appears on the confirmation page is how it's going to appear on their credential. I know a lot of the times on the photo upload page, it looks correct. Unfortunately, that's irrelevant to us. We want to look at how that photo looks on the confirmation page. Again, that's how it's going to print on the individual's credential. When talking to your families, for those of you who are new with us, it's important to stress that this is the photo that's going to go on their credential that they're wearing around their neck for their entire week. Once they give us a photo, that's their photo. We're not swapping out midway through the process. Once they're confirmed, that signed, sealed, delivered. With regards to health insurance, again, everybody must have health insurance to participate in JCC Maccabi. You'll see that that's also a requirement for our coaches, chaperones, and delegation heads. In the instance that you have a coach or chaperone who may not have health insurance, please feel free to reach out to me. We do have a list of providers that delegations have used in the past to purchase short-term or traveler's insurance, and we'd be more than happy to provide you with that information. Additionally, for our teens, we're looking for proof of age. Just because this question has come up a lot in the past, if you live in a state where your 16-year-olds and your 15-year-olds may have permits or licenses, that is a perfectly acceptable proof of age upload. We just need something that's provided from the government, from the state, that has the child or the individual's name, their date of birth on that document. Photo is always a plus, but again, we're getting that photo that you've confirmed as that teen anyway, so we're just looking for something that has the individual's name and their proof of age. Again, for medical form and vaccinations, per our 2019 vaccination policy, the only way to be exempt from vaccinations is for medical reasons. You are not exempt from vaccinations for religious reasons in 2019, so we want to make sure you guys are setting that clear with your families from the beginning. As always, our 2019 JCC Maccabi medical form is required for all participants, for all teens. However, we understand that working with insurance companies, sometimes individuals are not able to get to their primary care to have these documents filled out in time. So what we do allow is what we call a placeholder. So what that'll do is that will be the family uploading a 2018 medical that indicates the teen is in good health standing. This can be a Maccabi medical from last year. This can be a camp medical from last year, a school medical, just something that states the teen is in good health. We do ask that the vaccination records are uploaded, again, by that due date. At that point in time, you will not be subject to a late fee if the documents uploaded are clear. Excuse me. The onus is on you, however, to ensure that any one of those teens that you've uploaded a placekeeper for has a 2019 medical before they get on that plane or that bus or that car to get to Maccabi, JCC Maccabi this summer. If they get on the ground and we do not have a medical form from them, a JCC Maccabi medical form, For 2019, they will not be able to participate. So we want to make sure that you guys are clear and you're tracking that and you're owning that process if you're uploading placeholders and placekeepers. Again, your coaches and chaperones, it's that photo, that health insurance, the prescription card if it's separate, and that proof of age. Again, you're making sure all this is clear. You're making sure all this is legible. You do not need to check to make sure that all the vaccinations have been done. You don't need to look at the details like that. Again, is it clear? Has all the questions been answered? Is all the information on this document that needs to be on this document? Any questions about what is being uploaded into the system? So with that, this is one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about. Is it's sort of a trick of the trade to make your lives easier as you're in the system. And that's going to be how to check for uploads in a mass quantity, which means instead of going user to user to see if they've uploaded their forms, you can use our filter tools to do that. So again, in this example, we're going into the system, we're looking for all of our athletes, we're selecting all of our athletes, and we're looking for what form we'd like to view. So again, once you've selected all, and that's where that checkbox was when we were looking at the user status bar. And again, when you click the 0, all, you'll see that everybody turns orange, sort of yellowy. Everybody will get a check mark next to them in that checkbox. Once that checking has happened, in the top right of your screen, Add Product to View Forms and Send Message will appear. You guys are going to go to View Forms. You're going to select the form that you'd like to look at. Again, this will give you all the uploads. You can also click Confirmation Pages and Uploads. You can also filter for Confirmation Pages Complete, Medical Form Upload Complete. Again, this will allow you to look at multiple users at the same time. You'll select what form you'd like to look at, and then what will happen is you'll be able to use that toggle button to go from one user to the next, and you will only be shown that specific form for each user. So again, we'll go through now how to look at individual user forms, but if you wanted to look at all of your athletes' medical uploads or all of your athletes' confirmation pages in one shot, you go ahead, filter, select all, view forms, view that form, and again, as you click next, it would take you to that specific form for all of your users. If you wanted to check them individually, of course, you have this opportunity as well. There are two ways to do this. Again, you'll utilize that search bar. You'll isolate the individual team. You can either click their checkbox, click View Forms, and select the form. Alternatively, as we discussed earlier, you can click their status bar. A drop-down of all their forms will appear, and you can click on the form that you'd like to view for that individual user. Any questions about checking uploads? Great. So upload and swapping forms. As we talked a little bit about a moment ago, you have the opportunity to upload these forms on your family's behalf. You have the opportunity to edit these on your family's behalf if you'd like to. So again, you'll see the documents listed. It's the proof of age, the medical insurance, the health form, the vaccination forms that are being uploaded into the system. Excuse me. And now we're going to walk through the steps again of how you'd be able to upload and swap these forms out for your users in the instance that they needed assistance. In order to do so, again, you'll use that search bar located in the top right-hand corner of your screen. You'll search for the user who you're looking to edit. You'll click their status bar. The drop-down will appear of all their forms, and go ahead and click on the form that you're looking to change. In this example, we're changing their proof of age upload. Once you get to that form, you'll see in the top left of that screen is a little blue edit button. Once you click on that edit button for any of our forms, any of our pages, everything becomes malleable on that page. If you go ahead and hover over the name of the file that's been uploaded, you'll see that an X will appear to the right-hand side. In order to remove that form, you'll simply click the X. Please note at any point in time, if you click on the name of the form, it will appear in another window in your browser. So if you wanted to see the form before you deleted it, you could go ahead and do that there. Please note, once you click the X and it's been deleted, it is gone from the system. There's no getting it back. You'll also note that when a form is uploaded, a green check uploaded mark will appear next to the form. Once you've deleted a form, or in the instance that a form has not been uploaded yet, you'll see sort of the image on the bottom of your screen here. It works the same way that any upload or attachment to an email will work. You'll click Choose File. It'll give you the access to select any file from your computer, and you'll go ahead and upload it in the place of the original form, or again, it will be the original form that you're uploading into the system. Any questions about uploading or swapping forms? Great. So for 2019, for those of us who are the Canadian brethren up north, I'm excited to share that you guys will be doing your background checks digitally in the system for the first time this year. What will happen is your users will go in, they'll complete the process, an email will be sent to them in sort of the week or two following the completion process that will give them additional steps on where to log in to complete their process. for all of our United States-based delegations, the process will be the same as it was last year. We're using verified volunteers for our second year this year. Your coaches and chaperones and yourselves as delegation heads will go into the system. You'll click on the link. The link will take you directly to verified volunteers. You'll input the necessary information. Oh, you know what? Yep. You will click the button, put in the necessary information to complete the process, and your background check results will be sent to you within 24 to 48 hours. At that point in time, we'll be updating the determinant of your coaches and chaperones at this point bi-monthly, and as we get closer to the deadlines, once a week and then once every other day. So you'll be able to log into the system as a delegation head and see which of your coaches and chaperones have completed the process and who has not yet completed the process. For any of our international delegation heads who may be on the phone, you guys have your individual process. It'll be the same as it was in the past, and I'll be reaching out to you directly to talk through what that process looks like. Any questions about the background check process? Great. So as we discussed, there are confirmation pages that you guys are required to complete as delegation heads. Basically, what a confirmation page is your stamp of approval as delegation head that you have gone in, you've reviewed the information and the paperwork associated with your registrants. This is, again, inclusive of your coaches, your chaperones, your teens, and your spectators. And you're going to look through their confirmation pages, put your assertion of completion and your assertion that the information is correct, and then you're going to go ahead and submit. What's important to keep in mind here is that you always want to set your deadlines ahead of our deadlines. There are late fees associated with the completion of both of these forms, the general confirmation kit and the medical confirmation kit. The medical confirmation page has a $100 late fee, and the general confirmation page has a $125 late fee. Those are per person. So again, I strongly encourage you, set your deadlines earlier, get this paperwork in, check this paperwork, and make sure everything is in and confirmed and ready to go at least 2 weeks prior to that May 1st deadline. What's important about that time frame and window is if you have gotten us your paperwork by April 15th and everybody is in there, confirmed, you have gone through, you've put your stamp of approval, you have allowed the opportunity for host and JCC Association review. What that means is we will go through and we will confirm any of your teens that are correct. And in the instance where you were just looking at 75 confirmation pages and you missed one question on one teen's medical form, we will provide you feedback that that question is incomplete. You will then have the opportunity in that 2-week window to follow up with the family, replace that form, and avoid a late fee. However, if you go in the system on April 20th or April 25th and start confirming everybody, you have lost the opportunity to have that back and forth communication. So again, guys, I encourage you, as kids are coming in, as your coaches are coming in, as the process are completed, start confirming these guys from the beginning moving forward. I can only speak from confirming host communities, but it's an overwhelming process if you wait till the last minute. Again, if you can get these in and monitor them throughout the process, it becomes a much easier, less overwhelming process. Roommate matching. So this is something that is a quintessential step for you guys as delegation heads. It's also one of these things that I want to have a heart-to-heart with you guys about. We found that no matter how many times we tell you guys that 3 roommate requests is the most a teen can put in, you find a way to trick the system and you'll pair multiple groups of 3, and before we know it, we have a group of 9. Guys, I can't stress this enough, we can't do that in the system. All it does is delay the housing matching process. We certainly understand that a lot of you have teens that have requests in groups larger than 4, and we will do everything that we can to work with you and accommodate those requests. However, just like roommate requests are simply requests, guys, they're just requests. And we're going to do everything we can to honor them, everything we can to work with you. But once you start connecting large groups in the system, we now have to go through the system, search for them, reach out to you, take them apart, and you've now delayed the housing matching process, not only for your teens, but for the entire group of visiting athletes and artists by God knows how long. So again, I can't stress this enough, guys, and we'll be sending you additional paperwork, and we'll be talking through what the connecting process looks like for the roommate matching in the next upcoming weeks. But I can't stress this enough, guys. Please play within our rules. Please only no more than 3 requests per teen, which means, again, they're in groups of 4. Every teen must enter the system with at least 1 roommate request. Again, we'll talk through that in a second. But please, when you're connecting in the system, do not connect in groups larger than 4. We're going to pull them apart. And again, for those of you who have been with us in the past, who have had groups larger than 4, I hope you can speak and attest to the fact that we will work with you. We ask that you put in the notes comments on those kids' pages. You'll see here where it's got places for comments. The confirmation pages have places for comments. communicate with us, let us know what those larger grouping requests are, but let us be the ones to come to you and say, we have a house that can accommodate 7. We see you have a group of 7 you'd like to put together. Please work with us to connect those 7, as opposed to you doing it and then us having to backtrack. Again, thank you in advance for everybody for honoring that request and making sure no more than 4, no less than 2 as we're going into the housing matching system from the initial entering of information. So again, as you'll see, teens do have the opportunity to say that they do not have a specific request. We get this a lot of times for artists or individual sport athletes, or some of our younger teens are coming for the first time in this program. We are here to help you. If you have a teen and you may not have another female athlete in your delegation, or you may not have another artist, we're happy to facilitate and look through the system and find other teams and other delegations that are similar situations. We will pair you guys up so that you guys can talk as delegation heads, ensure it's a good fit, and we will help you match them in the system. But we ask that you guys pay attention and look for any of those teams who've entered no. Again, we need to make sure that every team is entering the system with at least 1 request. Just some things to keep in mind as you're going through and as you're making your housing matches and as you're looking at the requests that your kids have entered. It's always helpful to pair teams by sport or by venue. So for example, let's say a venue has 4 sports that are participating in it. You'll get all that information in the spring delegation head meeting, and then you can go ahead and be somewhat strategic when you're looking at your roommate requests. From a host family perspective, it's simply nice if you can drop all your kids off at one venue in the morning instead of having to do sort of round robin drop off. So we're just trying to be helpful. Again, we understand that that cannot happen all the time. These are just things to keep in mind. Again, you always want to pair a team with at least one other person. Again, teams can select up to 3. Please note that things will take precedence to request. Those things are cost route level. Those things are allergies. Those things will always trump request. So please speak with your families about being honest and truthful when they're putting that information into the system. Every year we have kids who come into the system as Glock kosher, and then they get on the ground at Maccabi, at JCC Maccabi for the week, and all of a sudden they're eating bacon cheeseburgers. And we've now taken a Glock kosher spot away from an actual Glock kosher child. So please just, again, work with your families, make sure accurate information is going to the system. One thing that we entered and we added to the system this year on the front end that we spoke about during our front end training is we've added very descriptive levels of kashrut so that when your families are registering, they can sort of read the descriptions for each level of kashrut and select the one that they most associate with. Our hope is by adding that, it will make this process a little bit smoother. But again, it's all with the help of you guys as well. So thank you in advance. So general confirmation pages, as we sort of talked about, this is going to be your stamp of approval. As we talked about, there's a $125 late fee for any general confirmation pages that aren't complete and in the system by May 1st. On the confirmation page, one of the things we've done in the past couple of years to try to make this process easier for you is any of the forms that we'd asked families to upload, we will show you a photo of on the confirmation page. And that's sort of what I indicated earlier with regards to the photo upload. You want to take a look at what this photo looks like on the upload, on the actual confirmation page, not on the upload form, because as it's displayed on the confirmation page, again, is as it's going to be displayed in their credential. Again, you're looking through, you're making sure things are clear, you're making sure things aren't blurry. Again, you have that opportunity to hit the edit button, make any adjustments, hit save when you're confirming as you're going through. Again, is this clear? Is this legible? Has everything been uploaded? Is this appropriate? You'll click that edit button and you'll go ahead and you'll click on all the confirmation pages, or sort of the sub-confirmations. What's important to know for your athletes and artists, on their general confirmation page, there are 6 sub-confirmations and then 1 overall confirmation. That overall confirmation will not appear until the 6 sub-confirmations have been entered. So if you have not completed all of these sub-confirmations, you will not have the opportunity to confirm overall your athletes and your artists. This is not the case for your coaches and chaperones who simply have 2. One is for overall, and then 1 is for their background check. The medical confirmation page as well does not have sub-confirmations. It's simply 1. It's an overall that you have checked the uploads and you have checked them to make sure all the questions have been answered. Again, you do not need to look line for line at vaccinations. You just need to make sure that all the information has been entered into questions on the medical form and that the vaccination form that has been uploaded is actually a vaccination form. I know it sounds silly, guys, but in the last 2 years that we've had the system where they've been uploaded like this, I have gotten receipts for a Corvette. I've gotten divorce paperwork. We've got all sorts of things that get uploaded into the system that are not what they're supposed to be. So please just look through these forms and make sure your families have uploaded the correct information. Again, 2019 vaccination policy, the only exemption is going to be medical exemption. In the instance that you have a medical exemption, we do need a note from the doctor that is notarized that basically just indicates that the teen is medically allergic to vaccinations as a result, or they have a medical reaction, and as such, they are medically not being vaccinated. Any questions about the confirmation process for our teens before we move on to coaches and chaperones and you as delegation heads? Great. So again, similarly, if you want to confirm your coaches and chaperones and delegation heads in mass, you can do so by using that filtering tool, using that view forms, selecting the confirmation page that you'd like to view, and clicking through. Again, it will simply take you to the confirmation page for one user, then another user, then another user, and you won't have to go back to your home screen, select the next user, and then go back and forth and back and forth. It'll seamlessly present you with those forms. Again, you're going to go ahead, you're looking through. Is the health insurance, is the photo, is the proof of age, is everything uploaded, is everything as it should be? Once it is, you're clicking that edit button, you're hitting your confirmation on the bottom of the page. Again, for your coaches, chaperones, and delegation heads, it's just an overall confirmation and a background check results confirmation, the same way that we pulled all the uploads to the athlete and artist confirmation page, we pull the background results to the adult confirmation pages. So you won't have to go back to the upload page where they did their background check. Their status of determination will be presented to you on that confirmation page for ease. Again, as I sort of caveated before, those chat bubbles, guys, we need you guys to stay out of. It's there for our confirmation process. As I alluded to before, if you get in the system and you have all your confirmations done at least 2 weeks prior to that May 1st deadline, you give us the opportunity to go in here and leave you feedback. If we're leaving you feedback, you'll see that we've left that feedback on the actual comment page in the confirmation page. So on the confirmation page, all the way at the bottom is a little comment section, and that's where any feedback will be left. You will know that your teen or your adult has been confirmed by this chat bubble. What you'll see is when you click on the chat bubble, a drop-down appears and it will show you who has confirmed that individual and when they confirm them. And for our athletes and artists, you'll see if it's a general confirmation page or the medical confirmation page. What this means and what it allows for you is you can easily go into your system and you can sort by number of comments. So on that May 1st deadline, when you go into your system 2 weeks prior and you've already confirmed everybody and we've already given you feedback, you can go in and you can sort by number of comments, and everybody should have 1, and everybody will be brought to the top. And again, anybody who has 0, that's an indicator for you that something was wrong. You'll be able to go to that user's confirmation page, or alternatively, if you have multiple users with 0, again, you'll check them all off. You'll go to view forms, you'll go to their confirmation page, and you'll look through their confirmation pages at the notes to see what's been wrong. At that point in time, you'll go ahead, you'll make any adjustments that you need to, you'll upload the correct information, and you'll shoot myself or whoever has left that comment for you, you'll shoot an email back letting us know that the upload has been fixed. At that point in time, we'll go in the system and we'll put that stamp of confirmation on there. But again, by May 1st, every single one of your users should have a 1 in their chat bubble. Any questions about the review process? And again, sort of making sure you guys are not leaving notes in those chat bubbles. Great. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about confirming spectators. It's something that we ask you to do every year, but we're not really hard sticklers about it. And it's one of the things that this year we're really being diligent about it. It's unfortunate, but in the day and age we live in, we need to be careful. Our overall goal is to ensure that all of our participants are safe. And part of that is going to be asking for your partnership. And that's going through your spectators and confirming them. You'll see that when your spectators register, we ask them to indicate if they're there to see a specific teen. They have the opportunity to select no. So we're asking you that as you go through your spectators, again, you can look through all of them at once by filtering for spectator, clicking view forms, looking at your spectator confirmation pages. And on the confirmation page, it pulls that information. So if you're going through your spectators and you notice that there's somebody who says they're not there to see a teen, but you're in a community that's halfway across the country, that's a red flag. Why is that individual looking to come to JCC Maccabi if there's not a teen they're looking to see? Of course, if you look at this name and it's your exec's, boyfriend or girlfriend or child, or it makes sense, wonderful, confirm them. If you don't know who they are, please reach out to us at JCC Association. Feel free to reach out to me directly. And what we'll do is we'll step in and we'll help with that follow-up. Something else to be aware of, just because we've seen it in the past, sometimes we'll get spectator registrations that aren't in English, or spectator registrations that, again, something about it is throwing up a red flag. We're here to support you and to take that onus of that process and that follow-up process on, but we need you to help be our eyes and ears in the system. So again, if you see spectators that are funny or something looks strange, please let us know. And for anybody who is normal, please go ahead and confirm them. Again, this will ensure ease and success in getting all of those spectator passes who were purchased in early bird to you ahead of time as well. And with that, I want to pause and sort of open up for questions and say thank you guys so very much again for taking the time to join me this afternoon as we review the back end of the system. As always, if you have individual questions too, please feel free to reach out to me at your convenience and we can address those offline as well. Great, and again, just a reminder for anybody who may have joined us midway through the process, please go ahead and make sure you're typing your name into that group chat. It will just allow me to get a participation sort of total for today. Additionally, as a reminder, you're going to get a copy of this webinar. You're going to get a lovely recording of me talking to you all about this webinar and a variety of other tools tomorrow for you to reference as you're moving forward in the back end of the system. So that, again, thank you guys so very much for taking the time with me this afternoon. I look forward to working with all of you to make 2019 a great summer. Thank you.